So a bill just got passed unanimously in Florida. There wasn't a single vote in the House or the Senate that was against this. Let's take a look at what they're up to. HB 741, sponsored by Representative Randy Fine, amends the Florida Educational Equality Act to add religion to the list of categories for which discrimination is prohibited and adopts a 2017 definition of anti-Semitism encoded by the Miami-Dade County City of Bal Harbour and endorsed by the U.S. State Department. Fine filed HB 741 in February as a response to the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, which he says is orchestrating anti-Israel campaigns using anti-Semitic tactics. Under the bill, the BDS movement is defined as a terrorist group, no different than the KKK or ISIS, which has prompted some to question if criticism of the Jewish state could be mischaracterized as being anti-Semitic criticism of the Jewish people. Huh? What? Okay. All right, hold on here. Now, the bill itself does not have that language in it, so I don't know where the author of this piece got that from. Is it possible that the author of the piece spoke to the people who wrote the bill and they were like, well, yeah, we want to equate BDS with the terrorist groups, and so that's our whole goal, is by crafting this bill, we're trying to delegitimize the BDS movement. It's possible that the author of this piece had that conversation with the people who wrote the legislation, but to be clear, that is not actually in the legislation itself, thank goodness. Now, having said that, this is one of over a dozen states, I think it's over 20 states around the country, that has in one way or another tried to criminalize BDS and actually done illegal, unconstitutional legislation that punishes political speech. So we discussed it how in Houston, if you wanted hurricane relief, you had to sign something that said you will not support a boycott of Israel. What? If you wanted hurricane relief money, you had to pledge that. That's ludicrous. If you want government contracts in certain states, you have to pledge that you will never boycott Israel. Cuomo, the governor of New York, he called for a boycott, I believe it was of Indiana, over anti-gay legislation that they passed a while ago. He called for a boycott of Indiana. Then he turned around and supported legislation that cracked down on a boycott of Israel. So you literally wanted to boycott the United States of America, your own country, a state within your own country, but you want to criminalize a boycott of Israel. You want to crack down on the rights of Americans for speaking out against a foreign country. But you also want your fellow Americans to protest America. I can't... This is insanity. It's insanity. And by the way, it shows you how powerful the Israel lobby is. Now, you're not allowed to say this because then they accuse you of anti-Semitism, just like they did with Ilhan Omar when she talks about AIPAC and how it's the pro-Israel lobby, it's a right-wing group, and it basically buys politicians to do the bidding of the Israeli government. You're not allowed to say that, but I say it because it's true. Now, look at what's popping up around the country. Bills like this. Even just the conflation of being against the Israeli government with anti-Semitism, that's deeply disturbing. That is literally like they tried with the Iraq War when you criticize the U.S. and they tried to say you're anti-America. What does that mean? Like what, I'm rooting for America to do bad? No, I'm criticizing it because I want America to do better. I want us to not do illegal offensive wars. That's why I'm criticizing. By the same token, when I say Israel shouldn't be doing more illegal settlements and in the West Bank and bombing Gaza relentlessly with 80% civilian death rates, yeah, I'm saying I want them to stop the negative shit they're doing so they can be better. But no, they conflate that as anti-Semitic. So you hate all Jews because you criticize the Israeli government for doing war crimes. So this is terrible. And by the way, Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor, wants to go to Israel to do a signing ceremony on this. What a gross relationship we have. We let them get away with whatever the fuck they want to get away with, whatever bombing of civilians or offensive wars or whatever, and we pat them on the back and we defend them, and we even try to protect them from criticism. You want to talk about the biggest snowflakes in the world who need a safe space? Here you go.